Today we want to talk about 4 common retirement lifestyle traps and how to avoid them. We'll cover making emotional decisions, not spending enough, listening to outside noise, and not having a purpose in retirement. Hi, I'm Molly Nelson here with Loren Merkle and Sean Honkamp. They're both certified financial planners and certified financial fiduciaries. Sean is also a CPA. So before we get into the traps, we want to define what retirement lifestyle is, because it could be, Loren, a new term for some people.
It could be a new term, but it's not a new thought. In fact, the lifestyle pillar of the plan is probably the most thought of pillar, but the least planned for pillar. The lifestyle is all the things that you've been dreaming about that you could do in retirement. It's the trips, it's the grandkids, it's all those things. But what we find is oftentimes people will retire and they'll take that trip and then they'll come home. They'll be like, now what? I don't have to go to work. I took my trip. I can't take a trip every week. What am I going to do? And that's why we encourage people to create a lifestyle plan. The lifestyle plan is absolutely essential to make sure that you can live the lifestyle you want to. The financial pillars help you pay for it.
So it's so important. You need to plan for lifestyle, and also you want to avoid some of the common traps. So that's what we want to help people do today. Trap number 1, making emotional decisions. So sometimes people get tied to things emotionally in retirement. And when it comes to Social Security, Sean, sometimes you see people get tied emotionally to a certain age when they need to elect.
There are a lot of options when it comes to electing Social Security, which can create some confusion and may lead to you making an emotional Social Security decision. We're going to look at 3 different options to show you how a planned approach may benefit you. We're going to look at this through the eyes of a hypothetical couple, Nick and Jill. Now, Nick and Jill have retirement plans. Nick plans to retire at age 65, while Jill plans to retire at age 62. Option 1, Nick and Jill elect Social Security right away when they retire. Now, Nick is hearing from his coworkers and some family members that they need to start Social Security as soon as they retire so that they can collect it for as long as possible. This is an option for Nick and Jill. So if Nick and Jill follow that guidance, Nick will elect his Social Security at age 65 when he retires. He'll be eligible for $2,857 per month. Jill's going to elect her Social Security benefit right at 62 when she retires. She's going to be eligible for $1,478 per month. If Nick and Jill live out to their average life expectancy, they will receive just over $1,030,000 of total Social Security benefit. Option 2, Nick and Jill elect Social Security at the maximum age. For Social Security purposes, the maximum age is age 70. If Nick and Jill delay their Social Security benefit during the time frame that they could elect it, they get a guaranteed increase all the way out to age 70, at which point it stops. Now, Jill is hearing from her coworkers and family members that they need to wait until the latest age possible to get that largest monthly benefit. This is another option for Nick and Jill. So if they follow this guidance, they both wait until maximum age of age 70 to elect their Social Security benefits. Nick would be eligible for $4,403 per month, while Jill would be eligible for $2,932 per month. If Nick and Jill live out to their average life expectancy, they will receive just over $1,107,000 of total Social Security benefit. Option number 3, Nick and Jill take a planned approach. So now they're trying to remove some of that emotion, some of the guidance and the different opinions that they're hearing from other people. They get as much information as possible. They do the analysis that they need to identify another option that might be a better fit for them. With this option 3, Nick waits until age 70, his maximum age. He will receive $4,403 per month. Jill decides to elect at age 66, where she'll be eligible for $2,080 per month. If Nick and Jill live out to average life expectancy, they will receive just over $1,118,000 of total Social Security benefit. Let's summarize these 3 options for Nick and Jill. Option number 1, Nick and Jill made that emotional decision of elect Social Security as soon as possible right at their retirement. Nick starts at 65, while Jill starts at 62. They receive $1,030,000 of total Social Security benefit. Option number 2, Nick and Jill wait until that maximum age. Another emotional decision, because that is information they heard from other people to try and get that largest monthly benefit. So they both wait until age 70. They receive $1,107,000 of total Social Security benefit. Option number 3, the planned approach, where again, they tried to remove some of that emotion get their personal information, look at all of their options, and identify what might be a better fit for them. In this option 3, Nick waits until age 70 while Jill elects at 66. They receive $1,118,000 of total Social Security benefit. Because Nick and Jill took a step back, they got more information, had an option where they would potentially receive more than $88,000 of additional Social Security benefit over one of the other options that they might be able to consider. And now Nick and Jill are feeling great about this. They have $88,000 of additional income that they get to spend during their retirement journey.
Yeah, that's a significant difference when you pull back and don't tie the decision to something someone else is telling you. I also think, Loren, a lot of times people tie the retirement or Social Security decision to full retirement age. That's a Social Security term. It doesn't mean that that's when you should necessarily elect.
Yeah, the 3 most common ages that people think about with Social Security is 62, the first time they're eligible to elect, full retirement age, whatever that age is for you. For most people, age 67 now, and then age 70, because they hear you get 8% guaranteed increase on your Social Security benefit from full retirement age to age 70 per year. Why not wait? But the fact is, most people can't wait until age 70. And the thing is about taking that planned approach is it's not like it takes the emotion out of the decision. To me, and based on the experiences that we have, Sean, it actually puts more emotion into the decision, but it's the right kind of emotion. Instead of the emotion of anxiety and confusion of not knowing, are you making the right decision for you? You have the emotion of happiness and confidence, because now, like Nick and Jill, they have an extra $88,000 that they can spend in their lifestyle if that's the decision they chose. If they do choose a different decision, they know why they chose it. They chose it because it's right for them, not because their neighbors said that they should take it at 62 or their siblings said they should take it at 62. They made the decision for them based on their circumstances.
It's more of an analytical approach, and I want us to make sure, Sean, people understand that this is exactly what you do for families. You look at all of the options for them and help them make the one that fits their retirement best.
We look at Social Security more in a planning standpoint, not just a single transaction. That's what a lot of people do if they don't have that overall plan. You're looking at Social Security saying, hey, I've got a decision to make. And now you're saying you've got some options and let's just take one. When you take the planned approach, that's where people are able to get more information and understand the impacts and identify, hey, what options, what else should we be thinking about? Because there's overlap with all of those 6 pillars you talked about, Loren, that as we're making a Social Security decision, which is part of that income plan, we've got to be aware of the other impacts to that overall comprehensive retirement plan.
We'll continue talking about retirement lifestyle traps to avoid next. Welcome back to Retiring. Today we're talking about 4 retirement lifestyle traps and how to avoid them. We talked about making emotional decisions. Now it's time for trap number 2, not spending enough. I'm Molly Nelson here with Loren Merkle and Sean Honkamp, and not spending enough in retirement, the way I said it, that might surprise people a little bit, like not spending enough, who has that problem? But if I say it like this, Sean, I know that you talk to people every day who can understand it, and it's kind of more the fear of now spending what they've worked so hard to save. So sometimes people then don't spend enough because of that loss aversion.
It can be easy not to spend enough because we hear from people all the time. It feels different. And I've heard, hey, it feels scary. You're used to saving for so many years, your account balances go up, and now you flip that script to, I'm in retirement, you're taking distributions, and now you potentially are seeing those account balances go down. So while you're looking at that, thinking about it, new stage of life, figuring out retirement, now your balances might be coming down, you're taking money out. So yeah, it can be easy not to spend enough.
And it can be a trap because you're concerned, you're scared about running out of money in retirement. I think not spending enough also can go coincide, Loren, with some of these rules of thumbs that people might follow. Like if you peel 4% out each year, that'll last through retirement, and those can go hand in hand.
If you think about any major decision you've ever made, the decisions that are always the toughest and you have the least amount of confidence in are the decisions that you made that you did not have all the information at your disposal to help you with that decision. That's exactly what we see all the time when people are trying to figure out how much is the right amount to spend in the retirement, because people don't want to spend too much and then run out later down the road, and they want to spend enough that they can enjoy their go-go years of retirement. That's really the key of spending enough. If you're sitting at home and you're retired and you're doing all the things that you want to do, and you're spending $5,000 a month, and then when you pass away at age 85, you pass on to your kids $1 million and you had all the retirement you wanted to, you're spending enough. When you don't spend enough is when you're sitting at home, you're retired, and you want to do things, but you don't want to spend the money to do things because you're afraid of running out of money before you run out of time. That's the issue that we run into. And that's where having that income plan as a part of your overall retirement plan can really help you spend the right amount so you don't run out, but you optimize your go-go years in retirement.
It kind of feels though like a big puzzle piece for people who are sitting at home and they haven't retired yet and they don't know exactly what that looks like. That's where you come in and help them, Sean, develop a detailed retirement income plan. What's all included in a detailed retirement income plan?
An income plan feels different because while people are working, it's nice and easy. They're getting that paycheck and they are given their time. When it comes to developing that income plan in retirement, it feels different. And oftentimes you're asking us, what exactly is that? The income plan is going to be comprised of any guaranteed income sources you have. Almost everybody has Social Security. A certain amount of people are lucky enough to still have pensions. So that's going to be part of the income plan. And now you've got to fill in the remaining need to cover your lifestyle by taking distributions from any of the balances that people have. And that is a big part of where people can maybe not feel confident spending enough, because we're trying to manage the uncertainty, like you said, Loren, that comes along with the balances that we have as we're taking distributions out.
And you're also doing that, keeping in mind, or you're helping people do that, keeping in mind what the tax implications of these decisions are as well.
Yeah, because the tax implications eat into your spendable income, which eats into your ability to provide yourself with the lifestyle that you want to. So we have to incorporate a tax plan into the income plan to make sure that you're optimizing the income that you're taking from the investments, because most people, if you're like most people who are looking to retire or are retired, the vast majority of your money, your retirement savings, is in accounts that's never been taxed before. So when you take it out, it's going to be taxable, and it can create other issues like increase your Medicare premiums and also make you pay tax or a higher level of tax on even your Social Security income.
So the trap is not spending enough. I think the way to avoid the trap is developing a retirement income plan. The next trap we want to talk about is listening to outsized noise. This is trap number 3 on your 4 retirement lifestyle income traps. And boy, a good time to talk about this is in the middle of market volatility. There's a lot of headlines. All you have to do is Google market volatility or
turn on the TV.
Yes, and you'll see all kinds of headlines that if you read them or if you listen to the pundits, they can feel scary and they may cause you to make, quite frankly, not the best decisions.
There's always going to be a lot of emotion when it comes to your investment plan and those balances. And there's going to be an unlimited supply of outside noise. Just ask anybody or turn on any TV channel. The markets are something that are a constant part of your retirement plan. You're always going to have information about it. It's easy to measure. Every single day, if we have money in the markets at risk, it's going up or it's going down. And that's where it is so helpful to have that overall plan so that we can try to be less emotional when it comes to helping you make investment decisions. You just want to feel better about it. Someone like us, we can remove ourselves from the emotion of other people's money, and now we can take that detailed analytical approach and say, okay, here's the decisions we made. Here's a plan. We plan for the volatility in the markets. And then when we go through that, it's still not fun. Nobody likes seeing their account balances go down, but you're going to feel more confident about it when we can point back to the overall plan and say, hey, we made some good decisions. We are prepared for this. People can still maintain their current lifestyle.
Yeah, and you did a good job of not only talking about the trap there, but one of the solutions is having an investment plan, something you can go back to that takes the emotions out of it. But let's go to the in-between part too, where we look at kind of the bigger picture, not just what's happening that day in the markets or that week in the markets, but if we look at some historical knowledge, it can help take the emotion out of maybe rushing to cash the first time the S&P drops some certain percentage.
Yeah, and that's so important, is looking at the bigger picture, because when we're talking about your retirement savings, the money that is going to enable you to stay retired for the rest of your life, that is so important. And so when you invest for retirement over a long time, you have to look over the long time horizon, because that's what's going to produce the results that you're wanting to. And there's studies after studies that are conducted that say emotional investing hurts you way more than non-emotional investing. The one that we have on the screen right now just looks at over a 20-year investing time frame, and we go from the years 2002 to 2022. Let's say you invest $10,000 and you do absolutely nothing. This is the easiest type of investing you can think of. You put $10,000 into the S&P 500, you do nothing for 20 years, then that $10,000 grows to over $46,000. However, if you miss just the 10 best market days over that same 20-year time frame, you don't have $46,000, you have $21,000. And you can see if you miss 20 days, it's $12,000. If you miss the best 30 days, $8,000 account value. And if you miss the 50 best days, only $4,000, which means you actually lost money over that time frame, just missing the 50 best days in the market. So we have to zoom out. We have to look at the big picture. And when you invest long term, you know that the markets are going to go down. You know that the markets are going to go up. It's a matter of what you do when the markets go down that's really going to set you up for results that you want or results that you don't want with long-term investing.
And we're just talking about investing, listening to outside noise. I think your Social Security example was great because Nick and Jill had a friend who said, oh, take that Social Security the day you retire. But they didn't tell them why. They just said, take it. Maybe they said it was going to run out. You know, people can have a lot of opinions about Social Security. Then someone else said, no, you've got to wait till 70. Well, they didn't listen to the outside noise. And then for them, the best decision was probably that last one, $88,000 extra dollars.
You've got to be extremely careful applying what worked for somebody else to your situation. Your total plan is different. It's exactly unique to you. It's not going to be the same as anybody else's. So you want to be careful applying those rules or those averages or just what worked for situation A doesn't necessarily mean that's the best fit for situation B.
We'll continue talking about retirement lifestyle traps to avoid next. Welcome back to Retiring Today. We're talking about 4 retirement lifestyle traps and how to avoid them. We've covered making emotional decisions, not spending enough in retirement, listening to outside noise, and now it's time for trap number 4, not having a purpose in retirement. I'm Molly Nelson here with Loren Merkle and Sean Honkop. And Loren, not having a purpose in retirement can really make retirement not as fulfilling as it could be.
It makes retirement awfully short for a lot of people as well. If you don't have a purpose or an ambition or something that is meaningful to you to wake up every morning and accomplish, then it can make health matters really bad in retirement. And it's not like you have to wake up and know when you wake up you're going to have oatmeal or toast for breakfast. We're not talking about that level of detail. If you have it, however, that's not bad. But what is important to you in this phase of your life? You knew what was important to you in the prior phase, but that's different. And so now you're entering a new phase that you've never been in before. What's important to you now? And then let's seize the day.
Well, all of the studies point to it, that the happiest retirees have purpose. And we know, Sean, that you just talked to someone recently whose boss, the CEO of the company, said, hey, before you retire, let's have a chat about what's next for you.
And we've got somebody new that we've just started working with here in the last year. And we were going through those initial touch points, having a lot of conversation. And we got to that point of the plan. We started talking about that lifestyle plan. I could see she kind of just, lightened up and whatever. She was ready to share something, and she talked about how she had shared her plans for her retirement date. And then the CEO of the company came to her and said, hey, before I allow you to retire, I need to know about 6 hobbies you have. And she kind of thought she was joking, but then the CEO was very serious, and they did have a touch point on it. They had some conversation, and they walked through these 6 hobbies that this individual had that she knew she was going to be able to spend time on those. They were fulfilling to her. They gave her that purpose, and she just felt really great about the value of that CEO thinking about that. Because like you said, Loren, we need that. That has to be part of that retirement plan. You've got to stay fulfilled, stay active, and make sure that you're having some fun along the way.
Yeah, so clearly that CEO had gone through other scenarios where there's people who had retired but didn't have a defined purpose or what they wanted to do from a lifestyle standpoint. And the CEO saw that and now is more intentional when other people retire underneath of them. And so I think that's pretty cool. One of the reasons that we do all the lifestyle events that we do for people who we do work with is to help them re-engage from a social standpoint, because we've been doing this now for over 25 years, what we've come to know is as people age, their social circles do shrink. And these lifestyle events that we do, there's so many diverse lifestyle events we do. Just off the top of my head, there was a pottery class that we did, putz houses. If you know what a putz house is, that's one of the most well-attended events, at Christmas time. So many different types of lifestyle events to get people out with people who are like situated, who also have to redefine what their purpose is and experience new things, new hobbies, and create new ambitions. And that's a big part of our lifestyle plan. And one of the ways that helps us build the lifestyle pillar into their Retire Secure roadmap is we will send them a lifestyle survey as they onboard with us. And that lifestyle survey will ask you a whole array of questions about what do you see this next phase of your life looking like on a day-to-day basis? What kind of hobbies do you have now? What kind of hobbies do you want to explore? What do you want to spend your time with? One of the new things for especially married couples is if you think about married couples who both worked and now they both retire,
I know where he's going with this one.
that day-to-day looks a lot different.
You're spending
And
more
it's-
time together than you've ever
it's-
spent together.
It's really important for you guys to have an idea of who's going to do what when are you going to spend time together, when are you going to find your alone time or your hobbies outside of each other. So all of that lifestyle survey, it's really good for those who are single, it's really good for those who are married. It's an exercise that they can go through to help them think about it, but it also helps communicate to us to plan for them, because what you do with your lifestyle is going to have a direct impact on all other pillars of your plan, especially the income plan. Because what you do with your free time is going to determine what it's going to cost you, how much income do you need. So it's all connected.
And I bet somebody at home is going, why the heck would my retirement planner or financial advisor, which is the more common term, be asking me how I like to spend my time? And Loren touched on it, but I want to go a little bit deeper, because it is important, because not only do you want the families and individuals that you work with to have purpose in retirement, because you know they'll be happy and you know they'll have a more fulfilling retirement, you also take some of the intake on that survey and you say, okay, so we know that you want to travel to Europe. You want to do that right away when you retire, and in those go-go years, which is that first phase of retirement where you spend the money on those things that you want. Let's plan for that. So you take all this information and you work it into that detailed income plan for people.
We've got to be aware of what that lifestyle need is going to be, what the dreams are, what the expectations are. It's one thing to look at the hard numbers and measure things and put that on a piece of paper, but now it's those other things that are going to be unknown. But the sooner people start thinking about that plan and commit to it and figure out, hey, what is this day-to-day going to look like? They're going to have a better sense of what that lifestyle need is. That is something as your retirement planner, we have to be aware of that. So it is unique. A lot of people we work with, they haven't had those conversations before with their investment advisor that maybe they worked with when they were still working. And now it's a new experience, and they're kind of surprised sometimes that we do so much. You know, we get to know you stronger than any other professional relationship you're ever going to have. So talking about that lifestyle, trying to paint that picture, asking that lifestyle survey, it's an extremely valuable piece of providing that Retire Secure roadmap. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click here for more great content from our team. Don't forget to subscribe to continue to receive helpful information for your retirement planning.